I'm Andy Temte, and welcome to the Saturday Morning Muse. Start your weekend with me by exploring topics that span leadership, business management, education, and other musings that are designed to support your journey of personal and professional continuous improvement. I fancied myself a good listener throughout most of my career as an executive. In my mind, I would sit patiently as team members presented new product ideas and business plans. After the final slide of the beautiful, shiny deck faded to black, I would ask probing questions in an effort to understand the pitch more fully. I would gently push the presenter to consider different perspectives and potential challenges that hadn't been considered. Again, from my perspective, I received the information I thought I needed to make good decisions, and I helped guide my colleagues toward better outcomes by pushing and challenging their assumptions. That was the world viewed through my lens. My colleagues likely saw things very differently through their lenses. Many team members were terrified of speaking with me. Now, I'm 5 feet 6.5 inches tall, and I weigh 150 pounds soaking wet, so I don't strike an imposing physical presence. But the combination of the position of CEO and my natural analytical, introverted, and cool demeanor, which can be kind of hard to read through, was the primary contributor to the trepidation folks would feel when interacting with me. As a result, I never received unvarnished information. Nearly everything that made its way to me was polished, redacted, censored, edited, and sterilized for my consumption. The biases of my direct reports colored the information I was given, and I was not getting the full story. For the first half of my career as an executive, I thought that this disconnect represented the natural order of things, that the boss was supposed to be an intimidating presence, and the distress and anxiety that my team members felt was some kind of rite of passage and an opportunity for personal growth. While it is the case that true learning only happens when we're made uncomfortable, I was unintentionally creating unnecessary emotional waste by implicitly and sometimes explicitly supporting and condoning the notion that deference to organizational leaders was just the way that the world worked. It was certainly an ego stroke to hear "Andy said, Andy said, Andy said" echo down office corridors, but were we getting the best long-term operational outcomes? Were we fostering an environment of trust, accountability, and teamwork? The answer is an emphatic no. In those early years, I could have done so much better. Now, if you're looking to improve your listening skills to build trust and accountability in your organization, here are several recommendations. Number 1, be present. Remember in the first part of this muse where I fancied myself to be a good listener? The reality of my behavior was a different story. If there was a video camera hovering over my shoulder, it would likely have caught me fidgeting, checking my phone, staring out the window, whispering an unrelated thought to a senior executive, or engaging in some other pointless multitasking. You can only truly listen when you're present and focused. Multitasking is a myth, and even if multitasking can be accomplished, mediocrity will be the likely outcome. Second is empower your people. By definition, when someone is listening, someone else is speaking, either verbally or through the written word or both. To ensure that the conversation isn't encumbered by unnecessary tension or spin, help your colleagues find their voice. How do you do this? It's important to lead by example, and the best way to do this is to shed your emotional suit of armor. Let your colleagues see that you're human by being constructively vulnerable. Tell a story about how terrified you were the first time you spoke to the CEO of the business and how you navigated the accompanying anxiety. Hopefully, you can share an experience where a boss from your past showed compassion and helped you overcome your fears. Third, be an educator. Glossophobia, or the fear of public speaking, is real and it affects a very, very large portion of the population. As an employer, you have an obligation to educate your employees and encourage them to adopt a lifelong learning mindset. Given that communication is one of the most important human skills and your business results depend on the transmission of reliable information, it's a no-brainer to invest in communication skills programming, including public speaking, in your learning and development routine. Fourth, create an environment where psychological safety can thrive. Your people will show up to work in an emotional suit of armor if bullying and intimidation are allowed to exist within your organization. In my first book, Balancing Act, I tell a story about an old junior high school friend who was told that she couldn't sing by our music teacher and that she should lip sync through the spring concert. Do you think my friend ever sang again outside of the shower or her car? Not a chance. If managers and leaders in your business cut people down to make themselves look better, you will not get the most or the best out of your people. Period. "Oh, just toughen up, you snowflake," are the words spoken by an individual who's trying to hide their own insecurities and doubts with unhelpful bluster and bravado. To wrap things up this morning, listening is routinely found in many top 10 lists of the most important human skills for the 21st century. Listening takes practice and can thrive in the right environmental conditions. To assume you're cultivating improved listening skills without making equivalent investments in education, psychological safety, empowerment, and presence is a fallacy. Let's put the phone down, open our ears, sharpen our minds, and listen. Our people, which are your business's most valuable asset, deserve it. Have a great weekend as you recharge for the week ahead.